Are we live?
We was alive.
Hey everybody, welcome to the channel. We have, my dog is acting up again. Take a look behind you, Pops.
Okay. Now she's mooning the neighbors.
Okay. So I'm not even going to discuss that with y'all because check out our airbag clip on the same car, the Ford Focus, and you will laugh your butt off. Meanwhile, I had to remove a door flap inside the HVAC system inside of a Focus, which required me to remove the crash bar as well as the dashboard and all the known components to it. So, how I started was, actually, should we do a quick, actually we'll wait to the end and show them what the finished result looks like inside. So if you got to do this job, it seems overwhelming, it may seem like a bit much to you, but I'm going to give you a couple tips on how to make it a little faster. Okay, first, disconnect the battery and turn your headlights on. That'll guarantee you that all the power is out of the system because we're getting ready to disconnect airbags and we don't want anything like that going kaboom. Right, Popsy?
Correct.
Could give you a quick headache.
Yeah. Expensive, quick headache.
Expensive, quick headache. So the first thing I jumped on was the front airbag inside the driver's side. And the key note to that is it takes a 5.5 millimeter socket to remove it. You see the little hex heads? If I can get that out. You can see them right there. They'll stay inside the steering wheel, but it's a 5.5 right there. And of course they go right inside. You see the brass fittings right there. They fit in. No big deal. It takes you a few minutes. You can have that out now that you know what size it is pretty quick. The airbag actually disconnects with two tabs. You just push them and it slides off. Steering wheel, I'd go ahead and take that off while you're at it. All it takes is a 24 millimeter. And it's a 24 millimeter bolt. Doesn't take a whole lot of pressure. And you can, it's lefty loosey, righty tighty, and it comes off. It slides right off with no problem. No problem at all. The next thing I took off was the odometer cluster. Or should I say actually the next thing I took off was the cover to the steering wheel. Pretty simple stuff, guys. You'll see the teeth right here. It's a little rubber. No big deal. It sticks inside the odometer cluster. It's got a little bite there. 3 T20s, it looks like, Torque Spit 20s, are holding this from the bottom. Now this is an 06, yours might be a little different. You can see the little side pieces there. They'll just pull apart like butter, no big deal. Moving on from there, I jumped into the odometer cluster. The only thing that's really a keynote on the odometer cluster, it's only held in by 4. 1, 2, 3, and there's the 4th one. There it is. Wait a second. Before you get to the odometer cluster, this right here was kind of important. The cover. And how this cover goes in there, just so you, I'm only showing this so you don't break it, guys. But you see it's got that guide right there at the top, and you can see the two super, they're pretty, I mean, I'd say they're pretty stiff, wouldn't you say, Popsy?
Mm-hmm.
Pretty stiff clips right there, so it's going to come in here and hook, and then it's going to hook under there, and these right here are going to pop in. And underneath the driver's side right here on the corners, there's one little bolt. That's it. So if you guys get that, and then take a flat scraper and kind of pull it out a little bit, you can kind of work that out. That's how it works, so there's no surprises. Odometer, baby stuff. You'll see that pop right out. The here on the back, it has like a little, I'll show you at the end of it when we do the wiring loom here in a second. I did that. As far as the bottom of the car, just remove the kick panel. Once again, no big deal. Keynotes on that, the OB2. Let me show them real quick. The OB2 port right here has a lip on it. Can you see it? You just pull that lip down a little bit, and the OB2 scan port right there, you can slide it out. And I think this was like a 16 millimeter. You'll see a bolt here holding in the hood release. No big deal. That's out. The centerpiece that goes around the bezel, it goes around the radio. Now mine's an 06, so it doesn't have those slide out, the Ford slide out radios. You know how they have those little U-shape. That mine's a little different. Once again, by the way, guys, who haven't figured it out yet, you need a flat scraper. Put that around the sides of this, and just so you get an idea, so you don't break it, the snap pins are here. So you want to put that around here on the sides. These are real simple. They disconnects are just a push down, wiggle out, push down, wiggle out, push down, same thing. And got the accessory lighter here. I know the electrical stuff's pretty simple to get out. Radio, once again, real simple, just a couple bolts mount and it'll slide out, depending on what year you got. As far as interior trim, you're going to want to take the trim all the way up the window seal, all the way down the side. So, and I'll show you inside the car. Those are real easy. Let me grab one. Give you an idea of what you're working with here. You can see right here, this right here would be a windshield. This is where it goes into the windshield at. This is the passenger side, I think. But it just pops out, slides out. You can see clips. No big deal. Remember, when you're dealing with plastic, don't work it too hard. Just kind of gently do it, and it'll come out. Won't it, Popsy?
Yep.
Easy, easy does it.
Yep.
Take your kick panels down on the sides where the plastic's at. This is pretty nasty. I'm going to show you all this. This is the console. My particular one was a 5-speed. If you've got an automatic, no problem or whatever. But the boot that was right here, it's just snapped in there, so you can put something underneath it, pop it up, and send it down. Same thing with the brake, the e-brake. It's got 3 little bolts in the back, 2 here in the front. Removes. Pretty simple stuff. Now, pretty much you've taken the time to take rid of the little cosmetic stuff, and you'll see stuff, various little, you know, electrical endings you'll have to unplug and stuff. Also remove the glove box. You'll have to take that out. You know, but that's still pretty simple. Now, as far as the dash itself, well, there went the hazard. Let's see if I can kind of get this up here where we can actually see it. Can we see that, Popson? Okay, that's good enough.
Yep.
So how the dash is actually fastened in, they only use 8mm bolts to do it, but they had a couple right here too. Inside where the airbag comes out, they have 2 more. See them? 1, 2. And on the sides, can you physically see those?
Mm-hmm.
1, 2. And there's a third one that goes to a crash bar, but we'll talk about that in a second. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, and then your little the little clip that holds in the glove box right here is actually mounted to the crash bar, so definitely take that out. Don't force anything. This thing should come out really nice and easy when you're ready. On the opposite side, you see this right here? These 2 guys right here. 1, 2, and then 1, 2 again. Now, it did take a little bit of rotating and moving. Popsy, wouldn't you say?
2 people would be a lot easier.
Yeah, I would say do it in doubles because...
no, we don't break it.
That's right.
Because right...
and your hazard switch, which I just knocked out a second ago.
It's under the crash bar.
It's under the crash bar. All right, we'll get it in a second. You just disconnect that, and I left it actually in there physically. Got it? Yeah. So you can kind of see how that goes. It's got a... I don't know if I'm in the camera range or not.
Yep.
But it's just a real simple clip that takes care of that, and it's the airbag on life. It just, both of them are at the same spot. Put that back in there. There we go. Meanwhile,
Yeah, the part where you have your hand is the easiest part to break.
oh yeah.
Because that's very thin right there.
Yeah, it's very thin. Also, another key note, there's actually fasteners in the back. It's almost impossible to get them out. 1, 2, 3. I'll show you what the clips look like inside the car because they're still physically there. But we can take those out and put them back on here and put the dash back in. No big deal. The other thing that's kind of important would be the crash bar. This was a pain in the ass. Just gonna set it right here. So this is how the crash bar actually physically sits in the car. And you will have an air vent that comes right here that's got to come over, but more importantly, you have an electrical loom coming across the here that rests, and they run it across the top there. And the problem with that is it's all got to come over top of this in order to be able to remove this. So it's actually pretty simple. I'm going to show you in its removed condition how it looks, and that way you'll have a real good idea of what you got to do to take it out. There's a couple that mount on the bottom here, and outside of that you've got the ones mounted on the side. Remember I told you to talk to you about that? So it's mounted on the side, on the bottom, and if I'm not mistaken, that's it, isn't it, Popsy?
Yeah, that side, the bottom.
Yeah, so it's the two sides and the bottom. They call it the crash bar. Now, how I actually took this out, let's see if we can show you this. This is the driver's side right here. It has a little pivoting point right here, and that was actually fed inside of a hole. I could not gain access to release that, but I didn't have to. It's kind of peculiar why it's actually sitting there with a bolt in it. I don't get it, but I'm sure there's a simple explanation for it. Anyway, you start with the passenger side, and you'll have to start kind of working it out. Now, this is an 06 model, so you might have an 03, 02 or something. They may have mounted something slightly different, so you kind of give that into the variation possibilities. Okay, I say let's put it on pause and show them inside this dumpling.
Oh, where does the flap go? So I didn't know.
Yeah, I'll show them. A second here. Hold on. Okay, Popsy, you want to just film this, and that way I can kind of point stuff out.
Okay.
All right, guys, so this right here is what's going across your, oh, I'm sorry, guys, I forgot to mention, now that we're inside, but the steering actually needs to lay down off of it. It's really no big deal. See, it kind of sits like this.
It bolts to the crash bar.
Yeah, and this bolts to the crash bar. See it? See, it's got the pivot arm right there. So I haven't taken any of this apart, but one is a T40, the rest are 13 millimeters. There's 3 of them, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's really not that big of a deal. You can see the electrical harnesses coming across the side here, and this is what literally feeds everything. So this is what you're trying to get off, basically, as you're going through the little program here. Your fuse box, if you notice right here, that's actually mounted to the crash bar as well. It's just got 2 little 8mm bolts, I think is what it was. Oh, and the crash bar actually has a ground attached to it, actually screwed onto it. Here it actually, hold on. Here it is right here. You can actually see that right here. While we're in here, there's the computer. This is how the, I'm going to go do the HVAC system here in a second. But anything else we're missing on this? Well, let me tell you what Popsy says. He says it ain't no problem taking it apart. You just put it back together like you took it apart, right?
Always works for me.
Yeah, but long story short,
Just don't get in the middle of it.
just don't get too much into the middle of it. All right, guys. Well, look, support your military. Support us. For God's sakes, don't do this to yourself. But if you have to, you got this video. And how long would you say I've got? About 3 or 4 hours, probably.
Yeah.
It's a 3 or 4 hour job, but it is kind of tedious because of what it takes to, you kind of got to know what's going on and what's up.
As you say, in the junkyard, it doesn't take very long.
Yeah. The junkyard, this job can go a lot faster. But anyway, all right, guys, we'll see you on the next one. In a minute, we're going to come right back, and I'm going to go over what actually happened to this car as far as the heat and AC system. It's kind of crazy, really. All right, peace out, man. See you on the next one.